Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. It is the player ratings. Fulham 0, Everton 0 at Craven Cottage this evening. A goalless draw. A game that could have ended about 5-all, 6-all, but didn't in the end. Both teams lacking that quality needed right at the end of the chances that they created. Both teams created, a number of decent opportunities. And as I said, on another day, there would have definitely been goals in this one, but not today. From an Everton point of view, I can't help but feel disappointed, I'll be honest. Don't get me wrong. I think if you'd have said to me before the game, would you take a point? I'd have probably said yeah. And given Fulham did have a number of opportunities that, had me short for breath, shall we say, at moments in that game, you might look at a draw and think, what, we take that and we move on. But as I said in the instant match reaction, the drawing away from home sort of thing is only works on the basis that you can go to Goodison Park and put in good performances and win games. And Everton at Goodison Park this season have been far from good enough. So, if we're going to look at that and say that's a decent point, then we have to improve our home form, because ultimately we need to start winning games of football. And as I said, although both teams did have big chances in the game, I can't help but feel like Beto's right at the end is just a golden opportunity that Everton have let go by. And you just can't let that happen in Premier League games, not to mention, once again, not being given another blatant penalty. But we've spoken about all of that on the Instant Match Reaction. This is the Player Ratings, the show where we give every player a rating between 1 and 10. Everton players only, I won't be rating Fulham players. 1 obviously being horrific and 10 being absolutely fantastic. Leave us your player ratings in the comment section down below. If you agree with me, let me know. If you don't agree with me, let me know. Anyway, let's just jump straight into it because it's getting late. Jordan Pickford. Going to give Jordan an 8 today. Thought he was really, really solid. As I said, Fulham created a number of opportunities. Fulham created a number of chances. And although I think they probably were lacking a little bit of quality, there was a couple of them that Jordan Pickford has absolutely outdone himself on. There's one save he makes from Tosin, I think it is, their centre-half. After a good cross comes in, Tosin gets a head on it. It's about 6-7 yards away from goal, and Jordan Pickford, coming from behind it, makes an absolute world-class save. And that is the only phrase to describe it. It's a world-class save. And we talk about João Virginia and how well he's done over the last couple of games or so, and Jordan obviously hasn't played for a number of weeks now because of the way the fixtures have fell with all of the FA Cup games. And I think João Virginia's done an absolutely excellent job, and in the games he played, he was really solid, he was committed, and he showed that he's a decent number 2. But that is a save today that not many goalkeepers in the world make, and fortunately for us, Jordan is one of those goalkeepers. It was an absolutely excellent save. He had another couple of bits and bobs to do throughout the game as well, which he did fine. Again, standard sort of practice for Jordan. Jordan Pickford can make a really good save, and it just be seen as sort of standard practice for him because he's that highly regarded, certainly amongst Evertonians. But again, not a huge amount of brilliant saves to make, but there was 2 or 3 that were really, really impressive, and I thought he was really, really good for. And he deserves a high rating there. He deserves a high rating. I'm gonna go as if it was a 4-4-1-1. I know it wasn't a 4-4-1-1, but that's how I remember the players. So if you're thinking, why have you said him before you've said him, and why haven't you said him, just bear with me a little minute, because I'm trying to remember everybody in my brain, and I ain't got the best memory, I'll be honest. Let's go with Ben Godfrey then. I'm going to give Ben a 7.5. I thought he did well today. Thought he was solid. Obviously had a bit of time in the game playing at right back, bit of time at the game playing at centre back as well when Ashley Young pushed back. I thought he was solid. Thought he made a really, really good challenge at one point in the game. He spoke about it in the instant match reaction, but I think Deco Dover-Reid is through one-on-one with Jordan Pickford, and Willian is stood in absolutely acres of space, and Deco Dover-Reid decides to square it to Willian. And if Ben Godfrey doesn't make that ball busting run that he does from 20-30 yards away in order to keep up with Willian, then it's almost certainly a goal, and we're almost certainly talking about an Everton defeat here. But he doesn't. He makes a brilliant run across the box, gets a sliding challenge in, makes the challenge, and ultimately keeps the game at 0-0. And it was a fantastic bit of defending. He made a couple of other blocks in the game that were really important as well, and I thought he did really, really well after he got the yellow card. When he got the yellow card, I remember sitting there thinking, how long is he going to be kept on the pitch? He's not played a lot of football recently. He's not match fit. Are we going to afford to play another 50, 60 minutes with him on a yellow card? But fortunately for us, and I think to the credit of Ben, he did really well. He kept his head down. He was still confident, and he didn't make any other mistakes. And every sort of challenge and bit of play that he had to interrupt, he made sure he did it without giving away a foul. So yeah, thought he was impressive today. As for the future with Ben, who knows? Who knows what will happen? There's been numerous rumours over the last few days or so that he could potentially leave the football club. I suppose we'll wait and see if that happens. But yeah, for me, I thought he was really, really solid today. Next to him then, Jarrad Branthwaite, I'm going to give in a 7. I thought he was really solid as well. Thought the passing was off generally today. I didn't mention it on the instant match reaction, but I'll mention it here. I thought in that first half, whilst I thought Everton were the better team, I think the passing from both sides was really, really poor. Second half, Fulham started to get control a little bit, and I think that actually suited Everton a bit more because we were able to sit back and hit them on the counter-attack, and our attacks were then coming from the momentum of being able to counter as opposed to having to, create them ourselves, if you like. But I thought the passing from both sides was woeful, and Jarrad got caught a couple of times with poor passes, sloppy passes from the likes of Dwight McNeil or Danjuma, and he got caught in possession a couple of times, but I don't necessarily think that was his fault. I think he was put under pressure with hospital balls, as we used to call them. You probably don't say that now because there's probably a new made-up phrase for it that the Premier League have created. But a couple of hospital balls that put him under pressure, and therefore meant that Fulham were able to, make the most of it and get an attack on. But I don't think they were necessarily Jarrad's fault. I thought he was generally really, really solid today. Obviously had a bit of an injury scare, but thankfully he come back on, so hopefully there's nothing there to be worried about. But yeah, another really, really solid defending performance. James Tarkowski next to him, I'm going to give him a 7 as well. Again, another very, very solid defensive performance from James. Nothing silly, got rid of it when we needed to get rid of it. Good in the air. Couple of moments where I think he was caught out of position a little bit. The header that Muniz, is it? The striker that they brought on for Jimenez, with 5 minutes to go, he's got a header that he should be doing better with. I mean, we spoke about Beto's chance and how it feels like, a missed opportunity for us, but I'm sure Fulham fans will be saying the exact same because that was a golden opportunity for him, and that come because he was stood in the 6-yard box on his own with nobody around him, and, James Tarkowski has to take responsibility for that, not only being the captain, but being a central defender as well. You can't leave a centre-forward in the box 6 yards away from goal with a free header. But other than that, generally, I thought he was okay. Thought he was good on the ball. Thought he was decent in the air. Thought he moved it round well. I thought he put in a decent performance today, so he's getting a 7. Mykolenko at left back then. I'm going to give him a 6.75. I don't think he was as involved as any of the other defenders. Still put in a solid performance. Don't get me wrong, didn't do anything wrong, and that sort of is what we're starting to expect from Vitaly Mykolenko now, isn't it? We're starting to expect those performances where he doesn't do anything wrong. He's just solid. You can rely on him. He's comfortable. He's committed. He'll get forward. He'll throw challenges in. Again, it was another solid performance by him. Nothing special. And again, I don't think he's been anything special at all this season in terms of going forward and creating chances and scoring goals. But he's so much improved from what he was last season. Last season, he was making silly mistakes. He was leaving space in behind. His one-on-one defending was poor. Now, he seems to have nailed all of that down. And again, it was another really solid performance by him, so I'll give him a 6.5. Into the midfield then. This is where it gets a little bit confusing in my head. Arnaut Danjuma. We'll go with Arnaut Danjuma first. I'm going to give him a... I'll give him a 6 today. I thought he worked hard. I thought he put himself about. I thought he had the go. I thought he looked a threat at times on the attack. He did have one big opportunity in the first half that he just has to do better with for me. He simply has to do better with. He does all the hard work. He gets it on the left-hand side. He cuts inside brilliantly, and all you've got to do is curl it round that corner. All you've got to do is bend it round that corner, find that, the top of that goal, and all of a sudden we're 1-0 up and everyone's buzzing. But he doesn't. He slices his foot through it and lashes it wide. He had another couple of half chances that he could have done better with as well. He had one where he had the ball on the outside of the box. There was a couple of options he could have gone with, and he decided to shoot from like 20-30 yards. And I remember sitting there thinking, what are you doing? Why are you shooting from there? It's a complete waste of an opportunity. But I suppose He'll probably say, well, I'm just desperate to score. I'm just desperate to get on the score sheet. I'm desperate to win a game of football for Everton. I'm desperate to do something to prove myself. So I don't necessarily blame him for shooting, but I do think there was a couple of moments there that he could have done better with. But nevertheless, he worked hard. He ran round. He put himself about. He obviously did go off with an injury as well, which is, not something we need. And certainly not ideal. Hopefully it was just an impact injury and it's nothing too serious, and hopefully he'll be available at the weekend, because if not, that's just another player that we haven't got available. I mean, at what point do Everton just say to the Premier League, listen, we ain't got a squad here, so we're not playing, because it's getting ridiculous at the moment. I've never known a side to struggle with injuries like it. But yeah, he worked hard. He ran round, he put himself about, he had the goal, didn't he? So I'll give him a 6. James Garner, then, I'm going to give him a 6.5. Thought he was okay. Thought he put himself about, battled. Again, he's always the first player, James Garner. When the opposition team are in possession, he's always the first player to get over there, and to get involved and to have a go and to try and win it back. Nothing special from him today. Nothing special from him. Just did the basics, worked hard, battled, put himself about. And yeah. He was all right. He was all right. McNeil next to him then, obviously in a new position. Going to give McNeil a 6. I'd probably have given him higher, to be honest, because of the fact that he was playing out of position and because of the fact that it was such a new role for him and, a new position to try and adapt to. But I just think his passing was really, really off in that first half. And I remember thinking 2 or 3 times, why can't Dwight McNeil pass a ball here? And I'm not talking 30, 40, 50 yards here. I'm talking 5, 10-yard passes, comfortable, simple passes that he was struggling with. And don't get me wrong, everybody was struggling with it. It wasn't just him. Fulham players were struggling hugely as well. But it felt like in those opening 25, 30 minutes of the first half, it felt like neither team wanted the ball. But yeah, he was okay. Listen, he was okay, I suppose, other than a couple of misplaced passes, playing in a new position, wasn't hugely involved in the game. I don't think, didn't have a huge impact on it. A couple of good passages of play going forward to create opportunities that ultimately we didn't make the most of. But yeah, he was all right. He was all right. Ashley Young, then, I'm going to give him a 6.5 as well. Again, similar to Vitaly Mykolenko in terms of just a solid performance. Didn't do anything wrong, didn't massively impress in terms of creating chances or going forward or, big challenges or whatever. He was just okay. He put himself about, he worked hard, he won a couple of fouls with his experience and his clever head, and I think he provided a little bit of stability to the team, a little bit of balance to the squad. The last couple of weeks we've been hugely lacking, especially in those midfield and forward areas, hugely lacking any sort of leadership, any sort of guidance, and I think he brought that today. Even though he wasn't massively impactful, I thought you could see that the whole team looked much better, with him around. And I'm not just saying that's all on him, but I think his experience and his calmness sort of rubbed off on the rest of the side, which was a positive thing to see as well. Obviously good to see him back from injury. Into the number 10 then, who haven't I said, is it Jack Harrison? Jack Harrison, did I not say? I'm going to give him a 6.5. He was better than what he has been. Okay, he didn't score, or he wasn't hugely creative with his opportunities, but he was getting into better areas, he was creating better space for himself, and he was having shots on goal. And even if those shots didn't accumulate to a goal, it's better than what we've seen of late, which is just being him picking the ball up and running into defenders. He was beating players, he was getting into good areas, he was creating space for himself. He was better today than what he has been of late, that's for sure. And then Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front, I'm going to give Dom a 6.5 as well. Worked hard, put himself about, battled. 2 big chances. Again, there's a couple of headers in there I felt Dom should have done better with. Certainly one of them where I think he rises and he hits the bar, but I think he should be guiding it towards goal, certainly on target in that situation. But yeah, he was okay. He put himself about. He worked hard. I think the commentator said he's 16 games now without a goal for Everton, which is just horrendous. Absolutely horrendous, really, when you think about it. But you can only imagine the knock on confidence that must have had for Dom, and how low on confidence he must be feeling. So we've just got to get behind him. He just needs that one goal. And then I feel like it'll be much easier from them. But yeah, he put himself about and worked hard. Onto the bench then, Patterson. Give him a 6. Come on. Can't really remember him doing much, I'll be honest, but come on and had a go, ran round. Beto, I want to give Beto a 5, he's got to take that chance. He's got to take that chance at the end. I know it comes at him quick, and I know it's in a split second, and you know, it's a difficult one to control and to keep your head down. But you know, 95th minute, you know, we've been in a really tough period of form at the moment. An opportunity like that, for me, you've just got to do better. I appreciate he come on, worked hard, ran round, put himself about, created a couple of moments, but as a centre forward, you've got to put them in the back of the net. You just do, and then people can have a go at me, and people can say, "Oh, you're being harsh, this, that, and the other." You've got to put them in the back of the net. If you can't put them in the back of the net, then what hope is there? And maybe Beto is struggling a little bit like Dom with confidence and with momentum, etc., etc. But he's got to do better there for me. He's got to do better. And then Lewis Dobbin, I give Lewis a 6, similar to Patch. Come on, ran about, tried to have a goal, tried to get down the wing a couple of times. Wasn't successful, but you know, we had the goal nevertheless. So there you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you haven't checked out the instant match reaction, please go and do so. It does only take a second. Please do leave a like if you have enjoyed this one. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Big thank you all for watching, and we'll see you after.